I am finally gonna jump on board and create this book. Let's go. Okay, so I have some ideas for this main cover. It's going to be inspired by one of my favorite TV shows of all time. But first I have to get rid of all of this. All right, while I let that dry and do multiple coats, let's move on to the next phase. I've done a little bit of sketching in here and you probably can't see it on the camera. Probably put this behind, not that it matters because this mat is a mess. All right, we are gonna start off with something very basic that you may or may not be able to tell, and see if you can guess what the TV show I am going after is. This first clue will be very difficult. I'm just going to be doing some very basic details right now with my Ohuhu markers and my Copic markers. Honestly, if you can guess just based off of these two items, I'm impressed. Oh no! Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst. Does this ever happen to you with your Copic markers? Constantly having problems with this one dripping like that. So, oh my gosh. I tried to clear up a few of those drips with a Q-tip and it did not work. It was very ineffective. But for some reason, that specific color is always leaking ink. And I should probably just like soak it up or something before I use it, but I always forget because I don't use them often enough. Okay, so moving on to this third item. Chances are, well, if you haven't guessed already, I am doing The Office. That is the theme. If you got it right by the blue color of the background, props to you. That is one of the classic iconic colors of Dunder Mifflin, that with the yellow and the Office colors, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I really wanted to use alcohol markers for this because I really want to improve my alcohol marker skills. As you can see when I'm doing the jacket of Michael Scott, it's looking a little splotchy, you know? And I was thinking maybe I could pull that off as like wrinkles or something within his jacket. Not quite sure if I pulled that off, but whatever. I think it does the job. And I also was practicing with layering my colors and seeing if I could get that rosy cheek vibe with also the darker shadows with the light purple. Again, working on improving my marker skills. Now, if you haven't seen The Office, this is a very typical photo of Michael. He tends to do this little smirk all the time throughout the episodes, and I just love him so much. I remember when I first saw this show, I was like, I'm not sure if I'm feeling it. Like this Michael Scott character, I don't know. But now it, again, as I mentioned, is one of my favorite shows of all time. I have probably watched all of the seasons 9 times. Well, that's interesting considering there's 9 seasons. So anyways, there's that. Let me know what your favorite TV show is in the comments below. If it's The Office, you and I are going to be friends. If it's not, no, I'm just kidding. Of course, we'll always be friends, but I would love to know what your favorite show is. One of my other favorite shows is actually How I Met Your Mother, but I didn't really feel like drawing all of the 5 characters because that would have been a lot. I'd rather just have some small props here and there. And then of course I wanted to create this book in that office sign style, and the little guy has a little paintbrush if you can see it, and it's just so cute. I love it so much. Oh my gosh. Okay, there is everything, and now I need to do the line work. So after all of the line work is done, I am now cutting out all of my objects, and this cup was a little bit harder than I was anticipating, but I used that classic thing that you learned back in like grade 1 or whatever to make that little circle and snip it there. Anyways, and also cutting out my little Dundee. It is so cute. Okay, now the book is completely dry front and back. So let's get these in on the book. Now the placement of all of these objects actually took a lot of time. I could not figure out which way I wanted everything to go. Finally, after deleting a bunch of footage that you do not have to see, I have figured out exactly where I want to place everything, and I only am going to have Michael and Create This Book on the front, and then I'm going to put all of the objects relating to the show on the back. And again, it took me way too long to figure out the placement of those. So going back to the front, obviously I have to add by Mariah Elizabeth and me, and just adding some finer details, adding some black outlines to all of the objects. Putting some white inside of the black, I thought that was a nice cool touch. Now, looking at the back of the book, I was like, oh, it's just a little too plain. So I thought it would be really fun to add some speech bubbles and include a few of my favorite quotes from The Office. Obviously, I had to add quite a few of the layers of this white to make it really opaque, and here we go.
Why are you the way that you are? Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
And lastly, I could not find for the life of me where Stanley is saying 364 days till the next pretzel day. Wow, that was actually quite a good impression. I'm kind of impressed with myself. But fun fact, my family and I actually got to meet Leslie Baker, and that was so much fun. He came to our town and we got a picture with him, so I should actually pop that up in here because that was a cool experience. And lastly, adding a few more final touches. And I think it looks so good. Like, look at that. Oh, I just love it so much. Minus the bubbling, of course, but I think it's a job well done. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Okay, let's keep going. So I'm going to zhuzh it all up with some more of the same color. I wanted to keep these next few pages pretty consistent with the theme of The Office. And so I'm going in with that fancy blue color and happen to have that in my Poscas. Now at this point I was like, okay, this is going to take way too long. So I grabbed a paintbrush and started doing it that way, and that seemed to make things go a little faster. Added in my white lines, of course, to the text. And obviously by Mariah Elizabeth and me, Mallory, adding some highlights to the page. Next, I couldn't figure out if I should actually do this tips and tricks, like adding stuff to that. When I got to the Create This Book, I had to add the stars, completing some of those things. So I was like, ugh, okay, I guess I have to add stuff to the copyright page and make things more interesting and blah, 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 blah. Personal touch to this page. So I just did some squigglies and called it a day. Okay, so moving on to that empty box, I didn't really want to do this, but I was like, you know what? I have a bunch of stickers and I'm going to place all of the stickers that I will actually never use in any other circumstance. So that is what I'm doing with this box. I'm adding stickers that I just don't really like, to be honest, and now they have a place. Like, who would ever use this cowboy boot? That's beyond me. I don't know. So anyways, stickers I will never use otherwise. And then of course I decided I should probably do this tips and tricks one to keep it fair and consistent. So here I did the nice pretty pink color and did some watercolor because they are watercolor soluble. Now we're on to create a fancy name. So obviously I have to do my YouTube name, which is Go Creative. And I tried to do some fancy lettering here with the creative because I'm creative, okay? Honestly, I think it turned out pretty good considering I'm not very good at lettering, but you know, I think it turned out pretty decent. Did some solid black coloring on the go part and added some highlights. And then I'm going in with some watercolor because it says to include your favorite color. Well, I'm gonna do colors because I really love this pretty like magenta-y pink color, as well as like that sky. Well, I like a few blues. So like the sky blue, the foamy sea green blue. Anyway, so I mixed all of those together and I think it turned out pretty good. Okay, and lastly, going on to the rule box. So I want to complete this book in order and date each page once it is completed. Now, that being said, I guess this page is completed, sort of, and I am dating it now, and I finished these both on July 10th. And here it is, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to get this started. See you in the next one. Bye.